Vehicles stranded after floods destroy parts of the Highlands Highway. Businesses urged to factor in reduced fuel prices. And not enough classrooms and teachers for these students.
This is National EMTV News with Mary Bartolo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us for Tuesday's news. Traffic along the Highlands Highway has come to a standstill after floodwaters destroyed part of the Bena Bridge outside of Goroka last night. More than 200 vehicles are stranded as the Provincial Works Department works to resolve the problem. Our crew, who travelled yesterday to the Eastern Highlands to cover another story on damaged bridges in the Hanganofi district, has also been left stranded in Goroka. Reporter Scott Waide and cameraman Raguel Kepas sent us this report.
More than 200 vehicles from Ley, Medang and the upper reaches of the Highlands have been stranded since the early hours of this morning. Pedestrian traffic has taken the place of vehicles as people work around the obstacle of the broken bridge. This is the damaged section. Yesterday, vehicles could pass. The section that held up under the strain of floodwaters 12 hours ago collapsed early this morning. The Provincial Works Department has ordered a replacement bridge from Mount Hagen, but it could take a day before the bridge arrives in Goroka for the repairs to happen.
So while we put up the belly, we will also have to do the river draining upstream to get the current away from the Goroka approach, so that whatever temporary measures that we are taking is safe.
The Bena Bridge is just one of several that have suffered in the wake of floods, marking the end of an 8-month drought. Yesterday, we were taken to the Dunantina local level government area where 3 permanent metal bridges were washed away 2 nights ago. For the Hanganofi MP, this damage will cost the district up to 5 million kina for repairs alone. It is money the district doesn't have.
It's the same where I got triple bridge or 20-35 meter bridges. They're all washed out. And then further up, we got 2 timber bridge too. One plus school, I stop and I need to water now. I just don't know how by me straight him. This is Duna LLG, Dunantina LLG, and I got 30,000. About 25,000 population now affected.
From the air, the damage is spread out over the whole of the Hanganofi district. Landslides, broken bridges and damaged food gardens. It's difficult to quantify how much this damage alone will cost to individuals and small businesses. For the Bena Bridge, the repairs and transportation of a Bailey Bridge from Mount Hagen could cost the province up to 2 million kina. The destruction has come at a time when government is tightening spending in all areas of operation. Over the last 2 months, the return of the rains has caused widespread damage to government infrastructure all over the country. In Medang, crucial sections of the highway have collapsed. The bridges that were washed away last year and the year before last still haven't been fixed. And in the Oro province, the provincial government still needs up to 2 million kina to repair the broken bridges between the town and the airport. Scott Waide, National EMTV News, Goroka.
In Western New Britain province, a series of floods have washed away at least 2 bridges along the Biala-Kimbe highway. The Ivule Bridge was completely washed off last Friday, while Tiauru Bridge is on the verge of collapsing. This follows continuous rains in the province. Businesses and commuters have come to a halt along the section of the highway. West New Britain Governor Sasindran Mutuvel has since raised concerns over the bridges, which continue to deteriorate even after it was inspected by Works Minister Francis Awesa last year. The cost of the damages hasn't been disclosed yet, but it's understood the Provincial Works team are assessing damages. A temporary bypass was erected yesterday, allowing traffic to resume between Biala and Kimbe Town. Maintenance work is expected to begin when the rain and flood fully subsides. Morobe Governor Kelly Naru has condemned the rape and murder of a woman in a village outside of Ley City. Governor Naru says funding for police logistics and weapons will continue. Yesterday, community leaders confirmed that the mother of 4 was raped and murdered. She was missing for 4 days before her partially decomposed body was found a day ago.
The alleged rape and murder of a woman at a village in Nabak, LG, has drawn high-level attention in the province.
And we condemn this kind of behavior.
The provincial government will fund police logistics and weapons to make sure this doesn't happen to any other woman.
But we are doing our best within our limited resources and within our limited capacity in terms of manpower and logistics and funding.
But funding coming into the province has decreased significantly this year. It's going to affect police operations. Last year, the provincial government allocated 1 million kina. This year, a significant decrease, 800,000 kina. It's been largely due to funding cuts coming from the national government. Yesterday, community leaders at Nabak were working to diffuse tension after the body was found in an abandoned well near the village.
Talk him come no family, them no same. I'm no been go back. I'm lost.
Dig out the culprits and get them to face the full force of the law.
Governor Naru is confident that the Lay police will apprehend the suspect, who is still on the run. Bethany Harriman, National MTV News, Lay.
The Waigani Supreme Court has granted the stay application sought by former Eastern Highlands Provincial Administrator Solomon Tato. Chief Justice Salamo Injia made the ruling late yesterday under 8 orders. The orders include Tato resuming office as Provincial Administrator and the staying of Interim Provincial Administrator Samson Akunai's appointment on February the 11th this year.
The dispute over the position of the provincial administrator resulted from allegations of misappropriations against Solomon Tato in June 2015. While the case was undergoing committal proceedings at the district court, Tato commenced proceedings at the National Court. On 12th August last year, following a decision made by Justice Ambeng Kandakasi, Tato voluntarily stepped down as the provincial administrator, awaiting criminal proceedings. The National Executive Council then complied with the order and appointed Samson Akunai as the acting PA for a period of 3 months. Akunai was reappointed on November 12 last year for another 3-month period, which ended last Thursday. Yesterday, Justice Salamo told a packed courtroom that in order to do justice to both parties and prevent the repeat of the service disruption in Goroka town, the court will effect the stay order to reinstate Tato.
Solomon Tato am substantive provincial administrator of PA Eastern Highlands.
The matter will be heard as a priority in the Supreme Court and will return for directions hearing on the 29th of February. Tekla Gunga, National MTV News.
2 more Papua New Guinea Defence Force soldiers have been arrested on mutiny charges. They appeared for mention at the Waigani National Court today. The 2 join 11 soldiers arrested last year for the same charge. All 13 appeared before Justice Alan David.
The court heard that investigations conducted by the lawyers representing the state were 95% completed, and they are yet to get supporting evidence from state witnesses. The witnesses are in Ley, Mount Hagen and Tari. An investigation team representing the state will be going to these towns to conduct further investigations. On the other end, lawyers representing the soldiers, who are from the Public Solicitor's Office, objected to the submissions, stating that the prolonged investigations is affecting the lives of the soldiers because they have been put off payroll for over 3 months. Following the argument, Judge David directed the state lawyers to speed up the investigations. He has given them a month to complete their findings and present them in court on March 15th. Judge David said if the investigations are not completed on time, then PNGDF lawyers will make appropriate submissions on the delay. The 13 soldiers were charged for misconduct while on duty. Vasinata Yama, National MTV News.
A judicial review will be conducted on the revocation of ousted Correctional Services Commissioner Michael Waipo. The National Court granted the review application, however, refused the application to restrain Bernard Nepo from acting as Commissioner. Justice Colin McKyle made the ruling this morning on the grounds that he was satisfied with the evidence presented in court.
Two different applications were filed this morning. The application to seek a judicial review on the revocation of WIPO as CS Commissioner and to restrain NEPO from performing the Commissioner's role. The application to seek a judicial review was submitted on 3 grounds. They were to satisfy all the requirements of the court, determine whether the case was arguable, and the time in which the matter was brought before the court. WIPO's lawyer made submissions that the manner in which the revocation was executed did not follow the correct procedure, and Section 28 of the Personnel Management Regulations Act was breached. The court held that under this act, the head of a ministry, in this case the first defendant, Correctional Service Minister Jim Simatab, would have issued a warning to the employee, who in this case is WIPO, on the areas he needed to improve on. And if the employee does not improve his performance, then the ministerial head will recommend the cancellation of the employee's contract. However, the court held that WIPO did not have a written contract and was acting as the Correctional Service Commissioner only on the National Executive Council's appointment made in September 2014. Judge Mikhail said there was evidence that the revocation came as a surprise for the plaintiff and he did not have an opportunity to respond to what he was revoked for. Thekla Gunga, National, MTV News.
Still to come in the news, ICCC calls on business houses to factor in reduced prices for fuel. BSP contributes to the SME policy, and a delegation from India on a fact-finding mission to PNG. Welcome back to the news. The Independent Consumer and Competition Commission has appealed to business houses around the country to factor in current reduced fuel prices as a result of the global drop in oil prices and to reduce their prices for goods and services. Commissioner Paulus Ayn spoke to MTV following his recent tour of selected provinces to monitor economic activities.
Global fuel prices seem to be falling to new lows weekly, and though the Papua New Guinean motorists can experience these reduced price changes at the Bowser, not much else has changed. Prices for basic daily necessities remain unchanged throughout the country and has left consumers wondering if and when they will change. Commissioner of the ICCC, Paulus Ayn, has appealed to business houses around the country to reflect these changes into their prices.
We've talked to the chambers in Port Moresby, and then we also would like to realize if this now reflected in some of the major shops by me going out into the provinces. Example, went to Manus, to Vanimo, but there appears to be the same situation at the moment, and most of the business houses in Port Moresby seem to be very silent at the moment. And yet again, we made another announcement for this month, a huge reduction.
The price at the Bowser is determined by international petrol prices, government taxes, and shipping costs. And since fuel prices have fallen drastically, the same drastic reduction should be seen in the prices of goods and services. According to Mr. Ayn, though in the past businesses are quick to reflect a spike in fuel surcharges, the opposite can be said when prices decline, as recent trends have shown. Leon Jarari, National MTV News.
The small to medium enterprise is expected to create 2 million jobs and 500,000 businesses in over a decade. Minister responsible, Richard Maru, highlighted this at today's presentation by Bank South Pacific. The bank has committed 50,000 kina to assist in the implementation of the SME policy. The policy will be launched on Thursday this week.
The small to medium enterprise growth in Papua New Guinea is important for the country's economy. Minister Maru said the policy was key to the development of SME and enforcement of the reserved list of businesses for Papua New Guineans.
We are going to now enact legislation before the year is up to bring back the reserve list and to reserve business and industries which are only going to be for Papua New Guineans. An example is like the porkies industries. No foreigner will be allowed to run this industry anymore and participate in the industry. These are businesses that Papua New Guineans can run. And the law will say that we are going to bring the legislation together. But without a policy, you can't draft the law.
The policy aims to create additional 2 million jobs and 500,000 businesses by the year 2030 and aims to increase PNG ownership of the economy from currently 10% to 70%. It is expected to increase contribution to the GDP of up to 50% by 2030.
From currently around 50,000 to 500,000 by 2030. Why do we do that? At the moment, 2% of companies which are owned by foreigners own and control and manage 90% of our formal sector. In other words, all our wealth is controlled and owned by other people. Papua New Guineans have largely become spectators in our own land. No country in the world can accept this.
Nunu Kulu, the Southern Region Area Manager, said that BSP understood the government's goal for more SMEs, and that is why BSP provides 37 million for the sector. There are also over 15,000 active SMEs with the bank under the business model for SME.
Working with our SME customers for a number of years, and in fact in 2015 we wrote out SME loans up to exceeding 37 million kina worth of loans, and we currently have active SME customers, over 15,000 across the whole country. We recognise the role of our SME customers, very critical in our community.
It is anticipated the SME policy launch will have 1,000 SME owners around the country attending to learn how the policy will benefit them. Adelaide Sirox Kari, National EMTV News.
Following Prime Minister Peter O'Neill's visit to India late last year on the occasion of the Forum for India-Pacific Islands Cooperation, or FIPIC, a delegation from India arrived in the country early this week to meet businesses and scout opportunities to invest. Leanne Jarari has this story.
Since arriving in the country during the weekend, the Confederation of Indian Industry had met with government leaders, including Prime Minister Peter O'Neill, leaders of industry and their counterparts in business. Last night, the Indian community in Port Moresby hosted a dinner to welcome the delegation, as well as to introduce and connect them with established networks forged over years in the country. Also in attendance to show their support were government representatives, including Secretary for Treasury Dairi Vele, who gave a compelling presentation to the delegates about why Papua New Guinea is an attractive destination to invest in.
I think our two countries.
Ms. Suba Tampi, the spokesperson for the delegation, had this to say about the visit.
I've come with the 11-member delegation who are representing various sectors, various areas of interest, and this is being the first thing, it's like a recce trip, and once we have seen the ground reality, we've met some wonderful people here. We were fortunate to meet the Prime Minister, Industries Minister. We had a wonderful presentation from the Investment Board. We have understood much more than we were quite ignorant when we came. We go back with tremendous knowledge of the country.
The relationship that was forged during the recent FIPIC summit in Delhi and Jaipur in India is strengthened and continues through the CII's visit to the country. Leanne Jarari, National EMTV News.
And now looking at the finance news, the kina closed unchanged at $0.3290 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.3215 $0.4473 Australian dollars, $0.2850 euro, and 36.55 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, coffee, cocoa and copra closed higher, while gold closed the day lower. Palm oil closed lower, while crude oil and copper closed the day higher. And on the stock markets, the Dow Jones closed at 313 points lower, the ASX closed 67 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed 27 points higher. You're watching National EMTV News. We'll have more local stories after the break, including the overcrowded classrooms in the Central Province. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. All schools, both government and mission agencies that benefit from the government's tuition fee-free subsidy, are advised not to collect any project fees this year. Education Minister Nick Kuman today announced the Cabinet's final decision for a moratorium on project fees. Minister Kuman says parents will not pay project fees. However, the district development authorities will be responsible for schools' projects.
The Cabinet has announced its final say on project fees this year. No schools, both government and church-run agencies that benefit from TFF funds will collect project fees on students. Those that have already collected project fees are advised to return the money back to parents.
I therefore direct all the Provincial Education Board, school boards, heads of schools, not to collect project fees and any other forms of fees. No student is to be denied access to schools or suspended for any form of fees.
This final announcement comes after the department secretary imposed a temporary ban on project fees earlier this month before schools commenced. Education Minister Nick Kuman today told more than 20 provincial education advisors in a meeting in Port Moresby that the District Development Authority will take full responsibility to fund projects that schools requested. DDAs will have to use funds meant for education in the DSIP to support schools. The minister says the government is committed to its policy and will not charge fees. However, he warned parents not to see this as an opportunity to increase the population.
It's a shared responsibility. A shared responsibility, not for the government to take a stand and say, listen, we'll take responsibility, you go and produce more kids. It's a shared responsibility. You make sure that you do your part and the government will do its part.
Department Acting Secretary Dr. Uke Kombra urged provincial education authorities to take command and control seriously.
Your responsibility and my responsibility to ensure that the policies of government are delivered. We have to get the small things right.
The tuition fee-free program is now into its fourth year and has benefited over 30,000 schools from elementary to grade 12. Over 1.9 million students have benefited from this program so far, and by the end of this year, the national government will have spent 2.7 billion kina on TFF alone. Quinten Alomp, National EMTV News.
Awabadina Primary School in the Central Province does not have enough classrooms to facilitate the large influx of students. Teachers are concerned it is affecting the students' ability to learn. On top of that, teachers available aren't equipped to teach the growing population effectively. Melissa Goviro with this report.
The Awabadina Primary School shares borders with 5 villages that depend on the school's services. With the introduction of the tuition fee-free policy, the number of students attending has increased. 4 students are forced to share a desk, meant to seat only 3 students. Those who are unable to find a proper seat resort to sitting on the floor.
The learning there is not effective because of the way they are sitting. They are seated. They should be sitting 2 in 1 desk. That's why Awabadina really needs new classrooms and new desk furnitures for the teachers and students as well.
In addition, there aren't enough teachers available at the moment. Mrs. Tao said of the 16 positions available, only 13 of them were filled. At times, a teacher has to take care of 60 to 100 students a day, when the standard student-to-teacher ratio is 40 students per teacher. Meanwhile, teachers who are available have not been issued the standard-based education curriculum material or undergone the SBEN service.
We are lost. I am the implementer. We, the implementers, we are lost. The standard base came into place. What are the resources that I am going to use? We are going to use. We were not trained yet. We are not in service yet. So right now in our school, we are using our outcome base.
Sepu said the school was now into its 3rd week and she's not sure whether the children were being taught the correct contents.
And after all, we teachers are going to get the blame. But please, my concern is, my appeal is, train us teachers, equip us with this knowledge so we can implement to our very own students of Papua New Guinea.
Melissa Goviro, National EMTV News.
After 55 years, Kerema Coronation High School officially became a secondary school. The promotion was officially effective as of last week.
It was a memorable occasion for Kerema Coronation High School students, teachers, parents, and the community who made their time available to witness the upgrading of the Kerema Coronation High School to secondary school status. The occasion was also a time to look back at the past achievements. Board of Governors Chairman Eddie Solomon said, when looking back to the educational growth for the province, Kerema seemed to trail behind all other provinces, but despite that setback, they are determined to make Kerema Secondary School a model secondary school in Gulf Province and raising the academic standard.
This memorable occasion will now allow Kerema Coronation Secondary School to look back on its past achievements and at the same time launch the approved Kerema Coronation Secondary status, which marks a new beginning for our school.
Joshua Ive, the Provincial Education Advisor, said standard is needed in this school and the development is supposed to be everyone's agenda.
This province can't pick up is because every one of us can't be responsible about education in this province. Parents, I'm calling on every one of us to do our part right.
Principal Advisor to the Teachers Service Commission, Mairi Ugaya, was disappointed with the attendance of the parents to such a special occasion for the school.
Though it is a special, significant occasion, however, the turnout does not look as this is a very special occasion for Gulf people.
After 55 years, Kerema now has its very own secondary school for their very own students from the Gulf Province areas to attend. Mai Koime, National EMTV News.
The Madang provincial government has responded to Manam Islanders' cries for relief help at the 3 care centres. EMTV visited the care centres and found the volcano-displaced Manam Islanders starving and in need of basic necessities. The Madang provincial government has vowed to deliver relief supplies as soon as possible. Rachel Shise reports from Madang.
The Madang provincial government has responded to the Manam Islanders' plight at the care centres and is making sure they get relief help. The Provincial Administrator Daniel Aloy says he's informed the Provincial Disaster Office to organize relief help for the Manam Islanders and have them delivered as soon as possible this week. EMTV understands the Governor's Office is aware of this issue at this time.
As I'm speaking now, the relief efforts are being worked on now to see if we could get it across to Manam quickly.
Aloy pointed out that the plight of the Manam Islanders, an issue that is now haunting the current provincial government, is due to the improper implementation of decisions that should have been implemented when the problem was still fresh.
Spillovers from our indecisiveness. And I'm saying ours simply because regardless of whether it be Pogia district administration or member from Pogia Open or the governor for that matter or the administration, and for us really is the provincial administration, the fact that we were not able to address the Manam issue at the first place, we allowed it to snowball.
He said that his office can only administer what it can do.
I, as an administrator, I'm limited. I can make administrative decisions. And what we are doing now are really decisions that are administratively made. And I don't see any improperness on those decisions.
Sending relief help one after another is an expensive exercise, and the administrator believes that the situation faced now is because of the delay of the Manam resettlement bill's endorsement by Parliament.
If we get the resettlement done, the islanders have the liberty. They really have 3 areas to work on. It's the area that is being earmarked for resettlement. That's their new location. And then the care centers and the island. They are at a better, situation. And this is my interpretation why I'm pushing to have the have the resettlement, activity done quickly.
Relief help is expected to be heading to the care centers by the end of this week or early next week, according to the Provincial Disaster Office. Rachel Shise, National EMTV News, Madang.
Sick and angry patients who queued up at the 6 Mile Clinic in Port Moresby yesterday were told the clinic was closed. It is the second biggest clinic in Port Moresby. NCD Health Service said the closure of the clinic was unauthorized.
They were told that due to the shortage of staff, the clinic would not be open and to go into the second nearest clinic at Gordon's, only to find that the Gordon's clinic had also been closed and patients from there were being sent to 6 Mile. Patients and caretakers who lined up told MTV that this was an ongoing issue of the clinic closing every now and then. Alan Benny expressed his anger, saying that the public servants who provide healthcare services should come to work, since they are being paid for a service they aren't providing.
Plenty times I come down looking and all this is awesome. Some of the time all come, some of the time all so look man, all work like some money, but all no sa come na no culpa Thomas.
MTV contacted Department of Health, MTD Health Services, Dr. Gary Ou, who told MTV that the closure was unauthorized and that his department was not informed about it. Also that at this time of the year, workers were still returning from holiday and causing the shortage.
Closed, they are not authorized. The staff in each of this facility are not authorized to make those decisions. They are decisions that we make at this office. Still returning from holidays, so that's why you find the number of people a little bit lower than normal.
Dr. Ou said that the issue also had to do with ongoing sewage problem they had at 6 Mile Clinic and also Gordon's Clinic being flooded from ongoing rain over the weekend. He reassured patients who use the 6 Mile Clinic that he would be looking into the matters of staff shortage.
An unfortunate situation where the sewage piping in the facility at 6 Mile is at a lower elevation than the main sewer pipe that sits right along the main road, the Highlands Highway.
Adelaide Skari, National MTV News.
Accidents out at sea are usually the result of overloading and the unseaworthiness of banana boats. Piracy is also among other factors contributing to an increase in accidents at sea. Board Chairman of Morobe Small Craft Board, Giosi Labi, made these remarks during a 2-day small craft inspectors workshop at the Lay Yacht Club. He said both the national government and provincial governments have put more focus on roads and highway users, with little to no attention given to maritime users.
The 2 days of training will help the Morobe Small Craft Board establish an enforcement unit in the Morobe waters. This is to ensure that the security and safety of the coastal people are met. The Morobe provincial government has been pushing for the establishment of a sea transport unit for a long time. This workshop will pave a way forward for Morobe to have its own sea unit in order to enforce its Small Craft Act. Chairman of the Morobe Small Craft Board, Giosi Labi, says there have been confirmed reports of lives and properties lost at sea.
Accidents happened so many times. Some are reported, some are not. So by having this workshop, I hope the Morobe provincial government will give adequate funding to sustain the Morobe Small Craft Enforcement Unit.
This enforcement unit will also assist police in the province to take charge of its marine policing requirements and will also take charge of sea piracy matters. Sea piracy incidences are becoming a concern for authorities. Currently, there is no water policing unit in the Morobe waters. Mata Luis, National MTV News, Lay.
The multi-million kina Games Village, which housed over 4,000 athletes of the 2015 Pacific Games in Port Moresby, was officially handed over to the University of Papua New Guinea today. Governor for National Capital District, Poes Pakop, said the facility was a justified investment to ensure tertiary students study in the best environment possible. Minister for Sports and Tourism, Justin Chechenko, challenged the university and the students to maintain the facilities for future generations.
It was an important day for the Premier University of the Pacific. There to witness the handover of the Games Village was the institution's academic and administration staff, students and members of the Sports Foundation. The University of Papua New Guinea recently marked 50 years of tertiary education, and with that achievement, the challenge of aging facilities. It was therefore timely that the government handed over the world-class Games Village, the Games Dining Hall and the Drill Hall facilities to UPNG as a legacy for the future leaders of PNG.
This facility is something that we can all be very, very proud of, that will leave more than a lasting legacy in our country. It will leave a lasting impression for the infrastructure here at the University of Papua New Guinea. It will also give new quality, modern facilities to the university for our students.
NCD Governor Powes Pakop urged the university to put in place a management system to ensure the facilities are maintained.
It's a massive challenge. The students in particular must understand this. We have stepped up, we have set international standard, quality infrastructure. We must maintain that. We must make sure that this facility is maintained to the highest standard.
Representing the Prime Minister was Higher Education Minister Malakai Tabar, who pledged that his department would support UPNG in looking after the facilities. Vice-Chancellor Professor Albert Melam said the facilities now add value to the delivery of the institution's academic programs by providing a good environment for study.
Learning doesn't always take place in a classroom situation, but also at home. Students have come to the university, they are home away from home. The university has that obligation to provide that environment.
SRC President Kenneth Rapa thanked the government for investing in the future of PNG and pledged to look after the facilities.
We heard your comment and we are challenged by it, and this year we will look after the facilities very well.
A plaque was unveiled to mark the handover of the Games Village. The Vice-Chancellor also announced that in consultation with the SRC, a protocol will be put in place under the residential provisions to safeguard the facilities. One of these is that there will be no provision for appeal if students misbehave. Deli Waigeno, National, MTV News.
Don't go away, Trukai Sports is next. We'll have some rugby and boxing. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Enipatas Cup match in Goroka has pulled off a winning victory for the Jaka Okapa Hawks after a drawing match against Pokona Jets. A CEO's call based on the tournament's bylaws of the Constitution has made the lucky team walking off with victory. This has qualified the Hawks to represent Goroka in the Eastern End Division at Lay's March playoffs.
Jaka Okapa Hawks has been awarded a gold pass, qualifying it as Goroka's representative in the Kokokala-Enipatas Cup playoffs next month. Present during the finals in Goroka, the CEO says victory was given for Jats being wrongly awarded a penalty at the Hawks try line. The gold pass secures Jaka Okapa Hawks entry into the finals competition, with all expenses provided for by the Kokokala-Enipatas Cup.
Inside the competition rules and bylaws, guidelines says inside the 1+ section and in the presence of the CEO, we can amend the constitution by CEO using the discretion.
8 playoffs will have Lay as host venue for the Eastern End, while the other 8 playoffs will be played in Mount Hagen for the Western End. After 4 consecutive years of loss at various tournaments, the Jaka Okapa Hawks have proven their sportsmanship this year.
Play good through. Now all play clean football na. Goal pass and film deserving this pass long and
Okapa Hawks has now qualified for a spot in next month's Eastern Playoffs, including its runner-up Pokona Jets, which was also given a mercy pass under the CEO's discretion. Colin Barilai, National EMTV Sports, Leh.
After a successful 2015 Pacific Games, PNG's boxing gold medalists are currently under intense training, aiming to make it to this year's Olympics. According to national boxing coach Joe Aufa, the team will also be attending other international tournaments in a bid to qualify. Godwin Eki reports.
Despite PNG's lackluster approach to the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio, a few sporting codes like taekwondo, swimming and boxing in particular have already started their training in preparation for qualifying events overseas. For the code of boxing, the 2015 Pacific Games gold medalist Charlie Keama, who won gold in the men's 52 kilograms division, Henry Umings, Thaddeus Katoa, Tom Boga, including two female fighters, Debbie Kaure and Philo MacGyver, started their training under the guidance of the national coach Joe Aufa at the High Performance Training Center in Boroko. Currently training are two NCD-based boxers, Boga and Debbie, with the rest of the team to join in later this week. Coach Alpha said this year will see for the first time a high number of boxers involved in the Olympic qualifying events for the country, where all boxers will take part in the Amateur Open Boxing Asia-Oceania Olympics qualification tournament from 23rd of March to 3rd of April in Pyongyang, China. This particular event will be for elite boxers, both male and female, in the flyweight 48 to 51 kilograms, lightweight 57 to 60 kilograms, and middleweight from 69 to 75 kilograms division, respectively. Alpha said if the team is not successful in this event, they will still have a second chance in their final World Olympic qualifications tournament in Baku, Azerbaijan, taking place from June 14th to the 26th, only a month away from the Olympic Games. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
To Rugby Union and Capital Rugby Union has confirmed their invitational tournament for this weekend, with games commencing on Saturday the 20th of February. With the format of the competition similar to the National Provincial Sevens Championships held last year, teams will participate from as far as the autonomous region of Bougainville, the Arama Coast in Central Province, Kimbe, Alotau, Oro, and even a team representing West Papua. 8 Port Moresby-based women's teams will also feature in this year's invitational event.
With the hype of rugby centred on sevens, the Capital Rugby Union have confirmed and released dates and draws for their Invitational Sevens tournament this weekend. The competition will include 38 teams, 8 of which are women's teams which have been active in the CRU competition. Recent champions of the Madang Kalibobo Lighthouse Sevens, Kimbe Rebels, will make an appearance as they've been placed in Pool C with Port Moresby-based Defence and Keakalo Malagana of the Arama Coast. While Black Orchids have also registered a team representing the autonomous region of Bougainville alongside Hakatau Tai and Alotau's Kedewas, Madang Madgowns and Oro will represent the other provinces attending. And with Rugby Sevens on the rise in the nation's capital, the overall governing body of rugby union in the country, the PNG Rugby Football Union, are also set to break big news on Thursday regarding the announcement of a rugby championship and a national sevens series. Lorraine Genia, National EMTV Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. While the Games Village has been handed over to the University of Papua New Guinea, 2 of the 8 blocks will still be managed by the PNG Sports Foundation. These blocks will be used to accommodate star athletes here in the country, as well as athletes travelling into PNG to train under the High Performance Training Centre. Shane Saroya has this report.
Apart from the accommodation blocks handed over to the University of Papua New Guinea by Sports Minister Justin Tchanko, PNG Sports Foundation will maintain control over 2 accommodation blocks that will be home to athletes over the years to come.
Okay, the 2 buildings that are going to be specifically given to the foundation through an MOU partnership, that will be our responsibility to maintain that facility. The rest of the other 8 blocks that will come under the university. And so we'll be specifically in charge of maintaining the 2 blocks.
This will be the house of exporting excellence, not just in Papua New Guinea, but in the Oceania region. Minister for Sports and Tourism Justin Tchanko said This was one of the many reasons the national government supported the infrastructural developments, as it was entirely for the Pacific Games, but to benefit the country across the board in many years to come.
We'll be able to open the doors to our Pacific guests when it comes to high-performance athletes. And when it comes to international sporting events, we have now got a place to put a home for them. It will make things much easier for athletes that are training as well. It will also open the doors to those that want to have a professional career in being a super athlete.
While the PNG Sports Foundation may have lost one of their key facilities, which they could have generated revenue from, they have other facilities around the nation's capital, including the venues in Lae and Goroka, to manage and maintain over the years. Chairman Lilly, however, said the foundation will continue with the implementation of their business module for the 2 blocks of accommodation assigned for the Sporting Excellence Program in PNG. Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
With only 8 months till the 7th PNG Games, Operations Manager Freddie Mathis has spoken exclusively to MTV, giving an update on just how much is expected to make it successful. The PNG Sports Foundation is working together with the host organising committee in ensuring all preparations are completed for a successful event. Godwin Eki reports.
In an exclusive interview with MTV Operations Manager Mathias and PNG Sports Foundation Director Susuve, both have similar expectations of the 7th PNG Games. Mathias said construction on Games facilities is underway with the appointment of a local constructor, Nivani, who is in charge of the construction of the synthetic track. He estimated that up to 8 million kina worth of work has already begun, with more stages to come.
I think with the Sports Foundation, it's a learning curve for every game. As they go through all the games, they find different things, different challenges. And with West New Britain, we're trying to make West New Britain sort of the core for all other provinces to follow. Obviously, like I said, POM and Lae have already been established, and we'd like small centres like West New Britain to establish itself.
He said to run a successful Games, they will require more financial support, and their search for sponsors and naming rights is still open. Meanwhile, PNG Sports Foundation Director, Events and Marketing, John Susuve, highlighted areas that will be most of need to the PNG Games, underlining areas of attention such as schedules of activities, entry by sports for each province, entry by names, as well as accreditation requirements where all athletes are to comply with. He said with a tight schedule in place, all parties are working closely with the PNG Games Committee and the Host Organising Committee Secretariat to target areas of interest such as construction of sports facilities, specific entry requirements, and most importantly, the technical support that is required to run the Games without any demarcations between the parties.
Well, PNG Sports Foundation is the responsible for the organisation of the Games as the technical advisors to the 7th PNG Games, which is hosted by West New Britain Province.
He said adamantly 24 sporting codes will take place, but nothing is fully confirmed also as to how many provinces will take part, but will stay open and compulsory to each province. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. We'll have for you the weather details when we come back.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
Here's a quick look at the weather for the next 24 hours in the southern region. Port Moresby, a shower or two. The same as well for Daru and Kerama. Some showers in Alotau and rain and showers in Popondetta. To the Momase region, some showers expected all across the region. To the New Guinea island, some showers expected in Lorengau, Kavieng, Kokopo and Rabaul, squally showers in Kimbe and rain and showers in Buka. And in the Highlands region, rain and showers expected in Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabag. Before we go, recapping our main stories for tonight. Vehicles stranded after floods destroy parts of the Highlands Highway. Businesses urged to factor in reduced fuel prices. And the 2015 Pacific Games Village officially handed over to the University of Papua New Guinea. And that has been the news, sports and weather for tonight, Tuesday the 16th of February 2016. On behalf of the EMTV News team, I'm Maribel Tulo. Pleasant viewing. Good night.